Jane? 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 Jane?
Hello Marvel fans, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. I just got done watching Thor Love and Thunder, and with Thor Love and Thunder, this is the 4th installment of the Thor franchise, being the first hero in the MCU to get 4 solo movies. And after everything Thor Odinson has gone through from his first film all the way to Avengers Endgame, we now find Thor struggling to figure out what is his path in life and whether he should just retire and give up the mantle, or if there's a new calling out there in life that requires him to save the world one more time. That's all pretty much say without giving any spoilers to you guys. This will be a spoiler-free review. Make sure you stay tuned on the channel because once it's officially released, I will be talking spoilers for Thor Love and Thunder, and man, I have so much I want to say about this movie, including the 2 post-credit scenes that they didn't pizza pop us. I would say both post-credit scenes are worth watching and are not joke post-credit scenes. But now talking about Thor Love and Thunder, Thor has had like a very interesting journey in the MCU. I mean, if we just look at his solo movies, they have taken a drastic change in tone where the first 2 movies you could say were taken very seriously. And then good old funny man Taika Waititi came in for that 3rd film, really ignited some color and unique visual style that brought new life to the character. Even Chris Hemsworth himself would tell you that he was tired of playing Thor until Thor Ragnarok came around. That was the film that made him realize, oh, I could play Thor forever now. And it wasn't just Chris Hemsworth. A lot of people out there found new love for Thor after Ragnarok, with that being a very entertaining movie. Me, myself included in that category. I like the new visual style and flavor that Ragnarok was bringing, and I was excited to see how Taika Waititi would continue that, while still being very hesitant and realizing the more Thor is on screen, the more he's starting to become this big buffoon that is just comedic relief. And now having seen Thor Love and Thunder, I'm actually pretty mixed on this movie. Starting off with some of the positives and what I think Thor Love and Thunder really did great is, for one, I do like Taika Waititi's visual style. I love his use of colors, how vibrant the Thor world now feels, and the action scenes in this film, super entertaining and well choreographed to mix in with the soundtrack of this film that is also very bumpin'. It'd be a crime not to mention how committed Chris Hemsworth is to this role and how much dedication he puts not only into the movie role itself, but his physical attributes, because man has gotten extremely jacked for this film and you can really notice it. Gor The God Butcher, I mean, he's played by Christian Bale. You know he always brings his A game, and it's no different here. When he's given the time on screen, he's gonna give you those uncomfortable vibes. He'll make you feel creeped out, and there's a clear understanding of why he's doing the things he does. I also really love the inclusion of Jane Foster coming back in here. They do things with her story that were kind of unexpected for me, but it's really those action scenes with Jane where she just shines the most. But of course, the thing most people are gonna walk away from this movie is it's funny, it's hilarious, you're gonna be laughing, people are gonna be chuckling. It's an entertaining, fun, action-packed ride. And with me having said all that, you're probably like, okay, Kristen, where's the problem? What's wrong with this movie? Why are you mixed on it? Oh, everything is cranked up to 10. I'll elaborate on that in a second, but I want to make clear, it's not that I dislike this movie or I hated it or I think it's a bad film. It's more that I'm frustrated that you can clearly see there was an amazing, great, impactful, powerful movie hidden in here that unfortunately was all just undermined and buried with an unbearable amount of silliness and jokes. That's what's going to make this review so hard for me, is because it's going to sound like I'm the fun police, like I'm someone who's a party pooper, that I'm someone who doesn't like humor in my Marvel movies, or I can't enjoy a good cringy joke here and there. Oh no, if you know my channel, you know I can handle and love that stuff. But with the storyline and topics that Thor Love and Thunder was trying to adapt, I felt like this was kind of the wrong time to take all the silliness and jokey fun of Ragnarok and do that times 10 here. Because I don't think this is a big spoiler, because most people know the story of Jane Foster and how she became Thor in the comics. Natalie Portman has even talked about it in interviews, but you know, part of the story is Jane Foster gets cancer, and her having cancer plays a big part to her becoming Thor and whatnot. So already there, you have a huge serious topic, cancer. Then you bring in someone like Christian Bale's Gor The God Butcher that, again, if you know his comic origin, has a tragic, heartbreaking origin that involves so much loss and pain. And then at the center of it all, your main character is probably the person in the MCU who's gone through the most trauma, pain, and damage out of anybody. Losing his father, losing his mother, losing his brother, losing his home planet, feeling responsible for the reason half the universe was destroyed because he missed a vital shot to the villain. In the trailers, they made it clear this movie would be about Thor trying to re-find his journey, reshape himself, himself from the PTSD he had, and I list all those things, and I tell you, the movie touches upon them, but every single one of those subjects becomes the butt end of a joke that you can't enjoy the emotional weight that the movie tries to throw at you. I'm fine and happy with Marvel trying to make us laugh. I'm someone who forgives the Marvel formula of jokes more than anybody else. But as you're watching this movie, really take a second to hear every sentence that comes out of Chris Hemsworth's mouth, and I'll tell you, it leads to a joke. There are maybe like 4 lines in total this entire movie where Chris Hemsworth wasn't leading to a punchline. It's also the Thor movie where I feel like they've turned him into a buffoon. He's an idiot now. He's just someone who makes jokes, cracks fun, and you can't take him that seriously anymore. And it's not even just the characters themselves, it's the entire movie. It kind of feels off. It feels like the characters are not acting like themselves. Like the sections where the Guardians are included in here or other character interactions, it feels like it's playing out almost like an SNL sketch and we're watching a parody of characters in the MCU. You remember those sketches that were released online where Thor had a roommate? If you don't know about those, just go look them up. I'm sure they're on YouTube, Thor roommate. And it's like those were fun little sketches to make because they're like little things outside of the MCU. Chris Hemsworth is playing an exaggerated version of Thor for comedic effect. But no, those sketches have now become the reality of what Thor is, and I kid you not, there's multiple scenes where that same style of sketch comedy is implemented in the movie to fill you in on some backstory. It's honestly just a little disappointing and baffling to me because I like Taika Waititi. I think he's a hilarious man. And I also know he's capable of making a serious movie with moments of comedy. 2 movies in particular, Jojo Rabbit and Hunt for the Wilder People. These are 2 Taika Waititi moments that have a lot of humor, will make you laugh, but when the serious moments hit in these movies, they hit you. You feel the emotional weight and you might even tear up. I did during Jojo Rabbit, but because in Thor Love and Thunder, every single moment leads to a punchline, leads to some extremely silly gag, when the movie tries to hone in those serious moments with Jane Foster or Thor or Gor the God Butcher, I don't feel the emotional impact. I don't feel attached to these characters because you've treated this whole scenario like a joke. And it pains me to say that because I feel like I sound like such a stick in the mud saying, stop giving me humor. I'm not looking for a Thor movie that has the tone of Shawshank Redemption. And actually, come to think about it, the first Deadpool movie is a perfect example of how you handle a cancer storyline. I think most people will agree when I say Deadpool is one of the silliest characters to ever hit the big screen, and even in his first movie, they knew to take the cancer moment seriously, and you felt the emotional weight. And a lot of that will be because in Deadpool, Deadpool is the only comedian in that film where everyone else treats the situation seriously, and in Thor Love and Thunder, every single character from Valkyrie, Thor, Jane Foster, Gor the God Butcher, random side characters, all of them are essentially stand-up comedians now. Maybe scale back the humor a little bit and let us breathe into some of those serious moments. Because also when we get to the ending of Thor Love and Thunder, that again, I'm not going to spoil or anything, but I was surprised with some of the twists and turns it took. I wasn't expecting the movie to end that way, but also the ending itself did not feel earned. The direction where the MCU is now headed with Thor's character is not that I'm against or think is a bad idea. If anything, I'm like, that's actually kind of cool that this is what Thor's going to be doing now. But really, it feels like it comes out of nowhere and is such a random end to Thor's story that I'm going to see a lot of people's faces going, that's what Thor's going to be doing now? Okay. Still, I know there's going to be a lot of people disagreeing with me because the movie made them laugh. It's hard not to when there's a joke every 30 seconds. You're bound to laugh at some of those jokes. And at the end of the day, that's all some people care about, is that it entertained them. There was a fun ride. It was a nice escapism for a little bit. And that's great, but I just don't want to settle for what could have been such amazing storytelling. I think you guys will agree with me, even the way they set up Gor the God Butcher, because his origin is like the first thing you'll see in the movie. And not only that will feel rushed, but then Bale himself is underutilized because he doesn't get that much to do. Valkyrie also, if you were a fan of Valkyrie, I'm sorry, but she's like severely sidelined in this movie. I don't know what was going on here, but Tessa Thompson almost looks very uninterested and like she doesn't even want to be in this movie. I know that was kind of her character in Thor Ragnarok. She was a drunk, didn't care about life, and was just willy-nilly about things, but I thought that arc was over and now she's king of Asgard. Yet for most of the movie, she's like, I'll go fight with you, Thor. I gotta stay here, Thor. maybe they'll get together. Like, that's just how she is. And it adds more to what I'm just thinking. A lot of Thor Love and Thunder is just wasted potential for something that could have been so great. So for Thor Love and Thunder, I'm going to give action 3.5 stars. There's definitely some really great action sequences in here, especially in this one black and white scene, as well as the fight scenes involving Jane Foster, because she is awesome with Mjolnir. But there is a decent amount of wonky CGI in here to take you out of those scenes. Comedy in the movie, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. It is the silliest, most jokiest Marvel movie. Almost every sentence out of Thor's mouth will lead to a punchline. You're guaranteed to chuckle a bunch throughout the movie, but also not every joke lands. Some are very lowbrow and more aimed towards kids. Drama in the movie, I'm gonna give it 3 stars, and that is heartbreaking to say for Thor Love and Thunder, that was adapting the cancer storyline from Jane Foster, Gor The God Butcher's origin, bringing together what could have been a great arc for Thor after everything he's gone through, all to just be treated like a major joke. Horror in the film, I'll give 1 star to for Gor The God Butcher. There are some sequences in here where Christian Bale is hamming it up and he's in this black and white and like black goo is coming out of his mouth. He's pretty creepy and terrifying. I could see some younger kids being scared with those visuals. And suspense in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. Because of the overuse of jokes and extreme silliness, I felt almost none of the stakes in this movie. There was probably like 2 moments where I thought the film actually got me. I was like on the edge of my seat. By the end of the film, those moments are retcon. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a B+. I feel like some people are gonna feel the extreme silliness and not buy it as much as Ragnarok. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a B-, and critically, I'm going to give it a C-. Thor Ragnarok is still a fun, entertaining, action-packed ride that is worth watching in theaters. And again, that's me saying it's not a bad movie. It's fun. It's entertaining. You're gonna get a smile. I'm just frustrated with the amount of amazing storytelling pieces they had in here that were all just kind of wasted. This film had the potential to punch you in the gut, really make you tear up, feel so badly and hurt by these characters with the occasional laugh here and there, but instead it played it so safe and is now going 100% in with the Marvel joke formula. Would love to know from you guys what you thought about the movie and how you felt about those post-credit scenes, but make sure you stick around for the spoiler review. Anything and everything, be sure to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.